Imagine living in a nation within a nation. Imagine the constant dissonance between the identities and value systems of these two nations. Hi, I'm Connie VANDEMAN Jeffrey, and this is Holbrook Indian School Week on All God's People. Holbrook Indian School is a 1st through 12th grade boarding academy that has provided Native American children and youth a safe place to live, learn, and grow for nearly 75 years. It also manages a 1st through 8th grade day school on the Navajo reservation in Chinle, Arizona. The school's history began in 1916 with Elder Orno Follett and his wife doing mission work among the Navajos. A school was built in New Mexico in 1918, but it was closed in 1937 due to the Great Depression and a shortage of funds. In 1941, the Arizona Conference became concerned about doing something for the growing tribes within the conference borders. A full-time evangelist, Marvin Walter, was hired for the job. It was not until 1945 that enough money was raised to build a school again. With 320 acres in Holbrook, the mission school term started in 1946 with 30 students, 1 teacher, and 2 deans. The schoolroom had no desks that year, and the children sat on rugs and sheepskins to recite their lessons. Through the years, the school has continued to grow. Today, the campus has an updated education building for the high school. The elementary students meet in classrooms in the administration building. The church serves as a chapel. An innovative agriculture program produces organically grown produce that is served in the cafeteria and sold to staff and community members. The equestrian program is a favorite, along with welding, woodworking, and auto mechanics. The Indigenous Arts program involves the students in pottery design, graphic arts, drawing, beading, and weaving. Holbrook Indian School is operated by the Pacific Union Conference. Its important mission is also funded through donations from individuals who have a heart for Native American youth and Christian education. 4 alumni of Holbrook Indian School are dedicating their time and talents to give back to their alma mater, seeing the students rise above the challenges of their backgrounds, breaking the cycle of poverty and abuse. Well, this is the reason Holbrook Indian School was founded. Shanel Draper works as the Student Scholarship Coordinator. She helps students and parents obtain scholarships for the students' tuition. During her time at Holbrook as a student, Shanel was helped by so many staff members who were there for her. Now she is in the process of becoming a mentor. Of the students, she said, "To see their faces light up or filled with laughter, those are the memories I treasure." Adrain Wiles started working as the Assistant Boys Dean this school year. When he first came to Holbrook as a 3rd grader, he went to his dorm room and cried. He knows firsthand how hard it is to leave family, but he feels blessed to be able to empathize with the boys. One boy asked him how to deal with anger. "I told him to try playing basketball," he said. When Adrain was a student, there was a low-hanging basketball hoop for the younger boys, and he vented his emotions by dunking. Terell Bahe recently started working as the boys' task force dean. He first attended Holbrook in the 8th grade, but he was in tears the day he arrived for registration. He understands, like Adrian, that the boys miss their parents. "We are introducing the boys to the idea of how to be a gentleman, hygiene, respect, and manners," he said. There is a strong correlation between education and respect and manners, a lesson Terell learned for himself. "After I graduated, I knew I was coming back to Holbrook," he said. Mr. Fred Bruce teaches horsemanship, welding, and auto mechanics at Holbrook. Recently, he was riding in the arena working with a horse named Angel when they both fell. Angel is doing okay, but Mr. Bruce suffered a devastating open fracture to the bones above and below his elbow. Following surgery, he needed a total joint replacement on his right shoulder and learned that he wouldn't be able to use his right arm and hand for some time. Jerena Hunter is a 2012 graduate of Holbrook Indian School who had been working for the Navajo government census while staying with her mom. She heard about Mr. Bruce's accident through social media. Mr. and Mrs. Bruce had been her senior class sponsors, and horsemanship was her favorite class. When she heard about the accident, she bought a get well card and wrote that she was available if they needed any help. Mr. Bruce took her up on her offer, and Jerena has been working as Mr. Bruce's right hand, quite literally, assisting him with tasks he couldn't otherwise do. Beautiful examples of Holbrook students who are having a direct impact on the students who have come after them. The year 2020 has been one of challenges for Holbrook. The pandemic forced the small boarding school in the desert to make some tough decisions. In doing their part to curb the spread of the virus, students were unable to return to the HIS campus to finish out the 2019-2020 school year. After leaving for spring break, they remained home, many of them living on the Navajo reservation. The conditions for many of the students were dire. The Navajo Nation had the highest transmission levels of coronavirus in the country. This is largely due to lack of clean water, access to healthy foods, and adequate medical care, along with overcrowded homes. Lack of internet also posed a considerable obstacle to distance learning. Under the leadership of Holbrook Principal Pedro Ojeda, the staff worked diligently to keep in contact with the students. Once the state mandates were lifted, they found a way to have them safely return to school as soon as possible. When the students were allowed to return to the campus on August 17, the school had a detailed plan to keep everyone as safe as possible. The year started with 65 students enrolled. From the one-building mission school that opened its doors in 1946 as SDA Mission School, Holbrook Indian School has grown into a modern, fully accredited facility that has kept pace with today's technology and educational standards. We are blessed by its ministry of faith, hope, and love, and we feel privileged that it is a part of the Pacific Union Conference. Thanks so much for joining us this week. For all God's people, I'm Connie Jeffrey.